Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third qualifier of the Alienware Awesome Cup tournament. My name is Slow Wolf, and joining me on the casting team today is going to be the inestimable four-court jester.
Inestimable. Wow. I am so great that you cannot estimate.
Yeah, that's the point of the word. But join like the two of us here today. It is a pleasure to be back here with you, sir.
Happy New Year, Mr. Wolf.
And
Happy
to
New
you
Year.
too.
Chat, Ronimo, everyone there in the qualifier, because we have 128 teams rocking this January qualifier. Yeah. Again. It's amazing.
And it's lined
great.
up again for tomorrow. It's 128 teams over on every single day of these qualifiers.
We're going to be busy.
We are going to be busy, but that's a good thing for us. We hope that you guys had an excellent holiday and a good time for the couple weeks that we were gone, but we are back this weekend and this weekend of the qualifiers like we mentioned today, qualifier 3 today. Last time, we had 4 finalists get to their spots on the 17th. We had Team Boss, All-Stars, 99 Cents, and LAG, Latin American Gamers. So we've had a variety of teams make it both new and old. And there's now 4 spots left.
Yeah, we're going to be assigning 2 of them today. You know, we started out round 128. We're going all the way to the finals. Doesn't matter how long it's going to take. We are going to be there because that is our job. Our job is going to bring you all the best games. We've already actually been scouting some of the ones in the round of 128, and wow, like some of the bigger names again coming out. We're going to start off with Gallo, I believe, and that's a team that we were talking about previously in the qualifiers. They have some really top-notch talent. I believe they've been at least to a round of 16 in a previous tournament. Might be round of 32, but they've definitely progressed. And Team Ion, we started looking at some of their games out there, Nada Pop and crew, and they were in one of the previous. I believe, actually, they got all the way to semis.
They got very close to making it, and they have there's a strong chance that they can make it here as well. But we've also seen some of the other games, and there's been some new talent that's been showing a lot of promise.
And that's the best part about this.
That's always the most fun, is seeing what kind of talent a big tournament like this will bring out. So I'm excited to get into the first match of the day. How about you?
Yeah, as I said, we've been looking at some of these, and it's getting the blood flowing. It's really sparking us up again once more to get into these games. So, you know what? Let's say, why don't we do it? So, first game, it's going to be Team Gallo, which we were talking about, up against Team No. And this is going to be a map on Aguilon because that is the enforced rule here for the earlier phases.
All the best of ones, yeah. And that enforces a really active playstyle like we mentioned before. It's a gank-heavy map with lots of action. You make use of those ganks and you push as hard as possible. Has both lanes wide open. And until we get to the best of, the round of 16, we don't have any other maps to cover. It's just Aguilon the whole time. It's a bloodbath. So let's go ahead and see what we've got for picks. On Team Gallo, we are looking at Scoop, Skoldir, and Yuri. On Team No, they have a Lone Star, a Scoop, and a Vania and Spike.
So just like what we saw in the first two qualifiers, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of Scoop.
Yeah, Scoop is a very powerful character these days. From the top 250 players, there was a list recently put on Reddit about this. Actually, a lot of them ended up using Scoop to get there. And Scoop is powerful because of his CC and because of his tankiness. He can also deal out a sizable amount of damage should he be allowed to stay close to somebody. So he's a very powerful character and versatile in his own right, and he enables a lot of other knots to do very well.
He does.
In this game, though, we see no Coco, and that was a particularly powerful pick in the last couple of qualifiers.
Yep. I gotta say, my girl Coco's really coming to her prime here with the patch 2.8. Even before that, she's always been a very powerful pick, but in terms of the high meta stuff, it's ebbed and flowed. We've seen some players do amazing things with her, some players not, but today we're gonna have to see what they can do with the Skoldir, with the Lone Star, with that Vinny, and with that Yuri. And Yuri is, again, another really up and down. He has such a history in Awesome Knots. He was OP, he's underpowered, he's overpowered, and now feels pretty okay in his spot.
I think it's one of those meta things. It's just based off of the characters that you're playing against. In this case, I feel like Yuri is going to have an interesting time against the Vinny if the Vinny plays well, but if he stays back behind his Skoldir and the Skoldir does all the work for him, between hammer into throw into mines, that's a devastating combination that you cannot get close to. And if you're caught out, you will die, especially if you're Lone Star and Vinny on the other team. However, Team No also has a lot of versatility going for them. They can stall out really well with Cloud and with Bull and Dynamite, so they can definitely weather the storm, but it's a question as to whether or not Vinny's late game will come into play before Yuri gets too strong, because his bubble really does enable for the strongest late game I've seen out of any Nod.
Well, we'll have to hope that the Vinny here is a better Vinny than I. Tried some games of it earlier. Not really feeling the Vinny
Let's
today.
not talk about that too much. Let's just go into the game.
0-8.
I think that going into the game instead is a great idea.
Indeed. All right.
Indeed. So,
would you like to introduce who's here on our left as we jump into this game?
all right. So on the red team, Team Gallo being represented by a Skoldir. Skoldir being played by Shirtzi. Yuri being played by P.O. And Nello Dante on the Scoop of Justice. On the blue team, we got Team No. We've got Vinny being played by Kuko. We've got Lone Star being played by Skull. And then the Spinorism? The Spinorism being played by On Scoop.
Yeah, I was thinking Spoonerism, but that's actually a popular Twitch broadcaster. So the Spoonerism is definitely going to be thrown us a little bit later on. But as you said, we do have some good, really nice setups here for Team Red, but we do have a lot of stalling power there from Blue as well. The key, I think, to this round is actually going to be what is Yuri going to do with those mines? Already you can see he's throwing them down onto this bottom line, and it was really looking for that setup. There goes actually the back into the sky. In the big drop pod, it's going to be that Lone Star as he dies for the first blood. But as I said, with gravity, there's not a lot of floaters. It's really just that Vinny. So what are we going to see with some of this mine placement?
The mine placement is going to end up being around the bottom area the most because that's the safest place that he can go and drop mines from a distance. Like, he won't get caught out from the middle area. He can just drop them down there. But he'll be using them to clear out lanes mostly and get farm. He's also putting them in places where his Skoldir can throw them. So we're going to see them be placed in about the middle of the map, someplace where it's not too scary for Skoldir to get aggressive, but at the same time will allow for pushing.
Well, stacking the mines on top of those jump pads will limit the maneuverability here of Blue, but that's actually going to be Shirtzi throwing in, looking for the kill here on top of the Spoonerism, and he is actually going to drop, but at the same time, we had the return kill there on top of the Yuri with the help of that turret. That's going to actually be a pull there on top of the Skoldir, but it's not quite enough for a kill. Skull is actually going to get the kill on the player named Skoldir.
That was really unfortunate. He went down to try to pick up creeps, and I guess he didn't see the Skoldir, so he ended up getting punched to death, very unfortunately for him. So putting the score at 3-1, 2 minutes into this game. Let's take a look at some of the items that we've got coming out. Skoldir, Shirtzi picking up the power brief, so now his throw does damage on everything that it throws. We've also got the mine damage being picked up by Yuri. On the blue team, we've got Lone Shark and Bag Full of Goldfish coming out on the Vinny, just to get that solar flowing as quickly as possible. But that needs a little bit more work. If Kuko doesn't pick up a couple of kills very early on, and it's going to be difficult with mines everywhere. He's not going to get a lot of value out of his soul items.
Yeah, but speaking of some of that early game value, Kuko, he's not really looking so hot right there. He is going to get out of that skin of his teeth, but some really big aggression coming out here from Team Gallo. They are controlling basically the mid of the map extremely well. The Lone Star coming in there with that bulb. It's not really going to matter too much here to our Nello Dante, but we got the laser coming in there. That's going to be the time bubble. The throw in is going to be enough. Yeah, for the kill there on top of the Vinny. It was enough with that throw damage, but P.O., he did take a good licking himself. He's going to actually head on back. Where's Nello Dante? He's in big trouble here against Skull, and it looks like the Lone Star will actually be able to trade it out for a favorable outcome on their side.
Yep, so that brings the score up to 4-3. The blue team now, Team No, starting to catch up in terms of the kills and in terms of the farm. They do have a few more solar items, so as being equal in terms of solar, which they more or less are, is not the best. But if they can keep up the kind of trades that they just got in that last fight against Team Gallo, then they should be okay.
And we see a little bit of push now coming in there. The dynamite, the spike dashes, of course, having that pistachio knight at the front lines. It's a really good position here for Blue if they can keep it up. Here comes the rest of Gallo, though. Already just kind of splitting up Blue at this point. Pistachio is going up against the Skoldir down there, and everyone else kind of went up top. Fighting as a unit of 3 is one of the core, pleasures of this game. So having that split up there was actually just really good for the Gallows, because now again they take control of the mid. Controlling that middle area and putting mines on the bounce pad makes it very difficult for the blue team to be able to respond to the constant lane switching that they are managing to put out. And a really good dash coming out on top of Shirtzi there. Kuko doing a really good job, but unfortunately no immediate follow-up, so the Skoldir is going to end up surviving for now and getting most of his HP back. Now we got an interesting part here. Nello Dante taking a ton of damage and a hammer, but he's not going to end up going down. P.O. also going to get out of there alive, just barely.
and the blue team going to bounce off of each other as well. So that was pretty much equal exchange of HP, and now both teams are still trying to just clear out lanes. This is a really even matchup right now. They're both just clearing out lanes as quickly as they possibly can. They have relatively the same number of kills in Solar, and it's been a very action-packed game too.
7 kills in almost 5 minutes at this point.
Nice pull into the Dynamite. Can they actually pick off Shirtzi? And so far, he's managed to survive just barely. He's going to end up jumping upstairs and getting out just in the nick of time. His team being able to save him there and provide the zoning necessary to get him.
He's looking for those spawns, but he's not, unfortunately, going to find any of them. Actually, that he started off with that throw. I kind of expected his team to be the one to follow up. That, really nice reaction there from No. They did combine as a unit for that 3-man stack, and they're able to actually force back out that Skoldir. So, a little bit of defense duty now coming their way, but lots of hammers. Actually, that's going to be the Spinnerism now being thrown out. This is what we were expecting with that previous throw. Just the follow-up is really enough. I think he's got to be forced all the way back home.
Absolutely. He would have to be forced back home. And what's interesting is that they're not initiating with the scoop like I thought that they would right at the beginning.
Yeah. It's all been about the throw so far.
Yeah, it's been the throw into the hammer. Like, he would throw, then the hammer would keep them in place for a little bit longer, and then bad stuff would happen. Skull getting picked off down there with an Earthquake throw combo. Shirtzi now extremely low. If Kuko goes in for a kill, he maybe could have gotten it, but he ends up playing a little too aggressive. They still end up picking off Shirtzi anyhow, but yeah, 2 for 1. Not worth it.
Yeah, Spinnerism actually does pick up that invis. So, I mean, there was a little bit of flack that he had to deal with from Nilodante, but he's going to be all right out of it. And again, we do take the mid control once more here from Gallo. They are more consistently delivering in terms of the kills, in terms of the control. And 6 minutes in, we don't really have a lot of tower damage to speak of in the top, but the bottom has been consistently pushed in because of the lack of presence here from No.
And it really doesn't help that the Yuri is going around laying mines and making it overall just difficult for the blue team to be able to move around safely. However, the blue team, Team No, still managing to put up a defense. It's not like they've lost any of their turrets yet, and there's always a chance.
Saw the gnome right there.
Yeah, that gnome is an awesome upgrade. It's a very powerful upgrade. Pio almost going down, and on the back end, the Spinnerism picking off Nello Dante. So Scoop managing to show the other Scoop, who's the true Knight of Justice here.
2 scoops of Raisin right there.
Yeah, 2 scoops of Raisin and Raisin Hell, as it were. Shirtzi now running away for his life as the Spinnerism trying to catch him as well. Never mind, Kuko now actually managed to catch him on the backside. Shirtzi's running for his life, but he's invisible. So he's going to end up getting away. Skull now in a lot of trouble as he gets slow bubbled and then killed. And yeah, Shirtzi looks like he's going to live, or he might not. It depends on whether Kuko can actually catch him out, or no, the Spinnerism can't quite catch him, it seems. Wait, he might. No, it's just not going anybody's way. Shirtzi trying to prove to be the slipperiest Skoldir on the planet, just getting killed by Kuko, who finally managed to outmaneuver him. That was really well played by Shirtzi. Had there been a little bit more support, he might have ended up surviving that.
Skoldir had picked up some of that oil for his Earthquake. Yeah, definitely a slippery fellow. But yeah, he did some really good dancing. There's some really good footsies. And again, because there was so much just attention on top of him, Pio was actually able to really just get their licks in. And now they got first tower on top of that as well.
First tower, and they did end up getting a Lone Star out of that as well. Now this big fight coming out here, Kuko taking a lot of damage. The hammer's not going to end up hitting anybody except for the Spinnerism, and he'll end up being okay as he picks up a couple of creeps. But they did end up, that dancing around did a really good job of distracting them, like you mentioned, Skull taking a little bit of damage there. But the distraction on Team No was really important, but on top of that, like you mentioned, it sucked up a lot of time. They got a kill on the Skoldir because of that time suck, and yeah. Shirtzi now going to have to teleport home. Skull almost dead as well. That was a really interesting engagement there too. But
nobody going down though, yeah. And that's very important here from both sides because now, again, like they can just both come back into the fray. Nobody's really changing hands here in terms of that map control. And you can see Pio. He's that's not him. That's also not him. Pio is really stacking up these mines. Somebody's going to drop on top of that, and that's going to be an insta-kill.
Yeah, although the Scoop knows that they're there. He heard the mines, so hopefully he doesn't. He's told his team and no one drops in there. Kuko taking a lot of damage, lots of punches, lots of throws, but now Nello Dante and Shirtzi taking a ton as well. There's a bull that comes out. Are they going to end up chasing it into the bush? The question, and no, it seems like they're wise enough not to, but they end up getting picked off on the back end. Pio using bubble into face mines, and that's going to be the end of the Scoop on the blue team. So
does the Scoop actually die into the top?
No.
I thought he was actually free and clear, but
oh, he was almost free and clear, but then he got caught out by a bubble, which does have the speed up upgrade and then damaging mines. I believe that the technical term that the Astronauts community came up with that a long time ago for that was called meat bombing, but I'm not sure if that's still the case.
Man, that was such a sweet bull right there from that Lone Star, but there's just not any kind of big follow-up here from his
might
team.
be able to get a dash kill onto the Vinny if he's good about it. And he lands on the mine, unfortunately, but Shirtzy also getting picked off on the back end because of the spinnerism. PO now taking a lot of damage. He's trying to the Vinny's trying to kill him. The Vinny's going to end up getting killed instead. Now PO looking to run away as fast as he can. He's going to just survive because he can fly and Scoop cannot. Now it's scoop on scoop action. Nelodontic just going to back off and call it a day. The spinnerism unable to avenge his fallen comrades. So that's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange, all things considered.
Well,
so unfortunate for them.
Knight's Code demanded retribution, but unfortunately just was not able to deliver. 10-7 for the kills at 10 minutes in. So, you know, just again, these guys are really going hard on top of it. But both towers now going to be down here for Team No, and they do have decidedly that lack of a map advantage.
Yeah, the 2 towers being done is definitely painful. Mine coming out is going to end up being a kill on both of those characters. It's the face mine into just Nelodante not giving up on them. It's going to end up getting a double kill there. So there's going to be some more push coming out for Team Gallo.
That was a really sweet double.
That was a really sweet double. They got pincered, but they should have seen that movement is my feeling there. But oh well, mistakes were made. By no means is Blue still out, though. They're only behind by a few hundred solar. It's nothing that they can't manage to overcome.
Kuko.
A really, really powerful throw coming out. And now Kuko taking a lot of damage. He's trying to run away as fast as he can, but he gets hammered. Well-placed hammer by Nelodante. This is going to be another pickoff, and it's just 2 to defend against this team of 3, which is now getting progressively more and more difficult to deal with.
Scolders seem to actually have a really nice advantage up against the floaty fish. You know, the Vinny and Spike just unfortunately do not really have any kind of way to deal with the Scolders except for those dashes, and he actually dashed in, if you recall, on the back of the jumpers. So he had already used the escape, and then from there it was just positioning. The slow bubble was you know, really just being played into good effect there from PO as well. And they also kept tabs on him, and they just collapsed, and they had some sushi for dinner. It was great. Spinnerism at the top, though, that's a gnome that he just ate to the face.
Yeah, the gnome explosion size is actually quite large, so powerful, like a good Scoldier player can use the gnome as an artillery weapon. Just throw backwards, the gnome will come out and deal a lot of damage, but in comes the invisible Scoldier, catching the spinnerism and throwing him right into the rest of his team. Not that it really mattered. He took enough damage that he was probably going to die to droid humiliation anyway, so that's going to be that. Gnome's coming out, the bull's going to come out, and it's not going to end up getting a proper pin, unfortunately. Seriously now running for his life as Kuko trying to get a kill, but he's going to be deterred by Nelodante. Now Skull taking a throw to the face. Shirtzy now going to get picked off by Kuko. Kuko managed to pick up another lone shark kill, so very good for him. And now we got PO coming out from behind. He's going to get the meat bomb on Kuko.
Wow.
That's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange in
maybe
favor
more.
of Gallo.
No, okay, maybe not more. We ran out of tricks there to actually pick up the Lone Star. But,
yeah.
Meat bombs, eh?
That's the term that I remember it being called.
So you have the slow bubble, you got the speed up, you just go right into him over top of the head and lay down the bomb, huh?
And lay down the pain. Yeah, that's exactly the point. And a good Yuri player can use that to great effect, especially because mines do so much damage, like 700 damage. You can just leave them all over the place.
900 max?
900 max?
Well, somebody just actually blew up. Lone Star, I think, actually found a whole bunch of those mines because there is only really the Yuri here on the offensive position. So, yeah, 16-8. That kill counter is actually starting to climb really high here for Gallo. This is starting to get a little bit worrisome for No.
It is absolutely worrisome for No. And out comes another throw, hitting not 1 but 2 people at once. And out comes the speed meat bomb bubble, and down he goes. Humiliation happening on top of Kuko.
Oh, the droids got it.
Yeah, the droids ended up killing him. Just in that small area, not even Vinny can avoid the droids. So that's going to be 17-8 now. It seems like every time that Blue goes in for a kill, they end up getting 2 deaths on their end. Shirtzy taking a lot of damage, but he's going to end up being probably perfectly fine. PO, on the other hand, though, is going to get killed as he gets snared underneath the turret. So that's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. And then down goes Shirtzy.
Yeah.
Well played by Skull coming in from behind. And now comes the Bull. The Bull's not going to end up hitting. Nelodonte's just going to walk away. And Skull's going to decide, you know what, it's best not to press my luck.
Yeah, when you just lost 2 teammates, and now you got to deal with a 1-on-3 situation. Any kind of more loss is could actually result in some really hard pushing there from your opponents. But Nelodante, I mean, it doesn't mean he has to go home. He can still actually put up enough pressure. But yeah, being this aggressive might not actually work out for him in the long run.
No, he'll end up being fine though. His survivability and healing ability, coupled with his relatively all-right average speed, should be able to keep him out of reach of the Vinny there. Now it's just him, and his 2 teammates are finally coming back into the fray. We'll see what they can manage to pull off here.
Well, now you see a little bit of aggression coming out here from Blue. They're very much emboldened from that last fight, but Skolder comes in, and there goes the Lone Star. He just gets thrown to almost his death, but the triple jump is actually very powerful for him. He does come back in with that dynamite. PO is looking for that kill, but he's actually not going to be able to grab it. Nello Dante, however, is keeping Kuko there some company. PO is, again, just really laying down some of those mines and trying to grab stray kills there with the laser, but by the end of all that, nobody actually went down in that engage.
No, it was well played on Skull's part, the Lone Star, I mean. It was well played on his end because he managed to dodge a lot of mines. Like, that was good platforming there, so kudos to him for not dying. Out comes a good hammer coming out of Blue Team. Now, people taking a lot of damage, but the bubble is too strong, proving that attack speed and heals in one ability is way too good for you. And down goes the entirety of the Blue Team. So that's going to be a massive push. The top tower definitely going to end up going down by the end of this.
Bubbles, mines, and hammers, man.
Bubbles, mines, hammers, and throws. Like, bubble into throw is just really, really strong, too. Like, everything the bubble does just amps up everybody on your team. There's a reason why I find Yuri is one of the strongest knots in the game, and it's just because of his late game. And that proved why.
Well, we still actually have everyone drop potting from the great ship in the sky, and finally, Skull himself is actually going to be here on the floor. But in terms of the cash, I mean, just looking straight at it, 15 minutes in, the cash difference is on average 700 between each individual knot. We're definitely playing at a disadvantage here from Blue. Now the Lone Star, he's looking for the kill here on top of the Yuri, but does not actually look like it'll work. The rest of the teams are on defense duty, but bottom turret is still up. Nello Dante's going to get pinned, and down he goes.
Yeah, and that was really unfortunate for him. He thought that he could get that turret kill, but no dice. Shearsy now looking to get some heal punches off. He's going to regenerate fairly quickly. Skull in a bad situation. Or
I was expecting a mine to his face.
Yeah, I was expecting a meat bomb too, but Pio now almost fully healed as well. Shearsy like back up to half already, and yeah, like the red team's ready to still defend and be aggressive and keep up the pressure, even with a one-person disadvantage.
That was actually a nice avoidance there from the Lone Star on top of that throw. I think the throw would have actually done it. Nice dash in Kuko. It gets that kill on top of Shearsy, playing too close to the bone.
Yeah, way too close to the sun there. It got Icarus burned, unfortunately, thinking that you could just teleport away nonchalantly while there's a Vinny on the field. So he's going to end up getting picked off, but that was all a distraction. That core is taking a decent amount of damage, at least a quarter of its HP from where I last saw it.
It's not doing so hot, that's for sure. I mean, with an exposed core, not even a tower down to the name of No. And actually, there goes the Lone Star on top of things. It's looking grim. 16 minutes in, when you're kind of this far behind in terms of the cash as well. I mean, that tells a very powerful story about how the incremental advantages here from Gallo has actually come to almost ahead. But there goes that last tower, man.
Yeah, there goes last tower. The speedrunners are managing to kill off PO, but at what cost? A tower for a person is not necessarily a bad thing, and they got the Lone Star earlier, so that's more or less a one-for-one trade and a tower. That's well worth it for Gallo. Now they're just moving in to get the core. They now have full access to 3 different avenues of attack and escape, so they can avoid and dodge and be aggressive without too much fear. The Spinorism trying to do some backup stuff there. PO getting, now starting to come back. Kuko getting killed in the process in that fight there. So when Yuri comes back, they're still going to have that 3v2 advantage for a couple of seconds. That could be very brutal. Like, this game could end in the next 2 minutes tops.
Another kill on top of Blue could actually literally finish the game.
Yeah, that will end it. If they get one more kill on this Blue team, it's game over.
I'm not even sure they actually need a kill. I mean, we got some 2 very big hit-pointed fellows coming here to the core. Shitzy now loses all of his, but that last punch is enough to actually take down the Lone Star. Spinorism is actually going to be forced away from the core, which means PO can actually go in with the laser, and we just catch the end of it there for the victory screen. 23-13 for an 18-minute win here on Aguilon. And again, like, I really kind of said this at the beginning, Yuri Mines placements were going to kind of be the key, because that's where, a lot of the combos can come in. As you said, the hammer into the throw into the mines, but if the mines are nowhere near the throw destination, then, I mean, they're not really going to wombo at all. But very expert kind of placements there. They limited a lot of the movement speed of No, and they just kind of took control of the map and never really let go.
Yeah, they were very aggressive with their Skoldier play in particular. Just Shirtzy was on top of them like a cheap suit. And what's really annoying about that for Team No was that they were aiming to be that aggressive team too. Like, they had a Lone Star, they had a Vinny. They definitely had the burst capability, particularly the way that they were building. They built
they got
Lone
kills.
Shark.
We did see them actually be able to burst out majority of the time. Those bigger hit-pointed fellows there from Red.
Yeah, and it worked out for. It looked like it was about to work out for a bit. But
the
thing with having a very aggressive team team like that against the team with Yuri and Skoldier is that you really need to cement that early game, and if you don't, it's going to turn out really, really rough for you because
I think right off the bat, Lone Star died.
Remember that? Well, yeah, there's that. But
like within
remember,
30 seconds.
Yeah, and then you saw that fight, the team wipe on Team No, unfortunately, with the bubble and everything.
Yep.
That's the reason why you have to win early, because otherwise you give them the opportunity to have bubble, which is bananas with the speed up and the heals. Like actually,
Yuri is bananas.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Good job, Wolf.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Game
Team
one.
Gallo winning their first game of the day. Team No, unfortunately, going to have to come back tomorrow if they want a chance at one of those spots. But
Last chance.
they still put up an impressive fight. I think that was more their they made a couple of mistakes and Gallo capitalized on them, but it was more of a team makeup that problem that caused them to fall behind in kills as quickly as they did, I think.
Yeah. As you said, they didn't cement the early, and they weren't really able to recover basically from there. You don't give Yuri that kind of power up. Vinny, he got kills. I mean, at the end of it all, checking out the Vinny here, three kills, but 8 deaths. I mean,
yeah, like I said, they didn't cement it, and then eventually started doing
10
2
deaths
for 1
on the
trades.
Lone Star. They punished him hard.
They did not want to
That's
give the Lone Star a lot of room. So.
Oh, first game in the bag, guys, which means that we're going to set up here for the next one. Mr. Wolf, do we actually know what we're going to be doing there?
Yeah, we are going to be casting 2 new teams that we have never heard of before.
I believe
we got Team Meow versus Team The Dirty Scrappers.
Oh, man.
So we got a couple of people that think that they're the tough stuff on the streets and a couple of people that think they're a little bit cuter than most people. So we'll see how these 2 teams work out. Either way, I've heard that it's a good game, so I am aiming to see another close one.
All right, so we're going to set that up here for you guys, and when we return, Meow up against the Dirty Scrappers.